You're listening to the Ballroom Network. The following program is intended for all audiences. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Goon Podcast with your hosts, Joe Mandel, the Goon, John Santucci, the Tooch, and the man with the plan, Adam Shawm. We're bringing you the fantasy football knowledge that you need every single week.
Derrick Henry still going. He might go. 99 yards for the touchdown. Unbelievable.
Flush that again all the way back. Turning the corner. Fires downfield. Caught. Touchdown. Only Mahomes turns what might have been a 15-yard sack into a 27-yard touchdown.
Saquon Barkley across midfield, down the sideline, staying in bounds, and Barkley takes it all the way. 68 yards for his first NFL touchdown. McCaffrey right up the middle, and he is gone for the touchdown. 58 yards. And this is to Thomas. He's gone. Touchdown Saints.
Okay, it's time for the easiest part of any coach's job, the cut. Now, while I wasn't able to cut everyone I wanted to, I have cut a lot of you. Steven, I like your hustle. That's why it was so hard to cut you. Congratulations, the rest of you made the team. Except you, and you.
God bless fantasy football. There are many things a man can do with his time. And this, better than those things.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic edition of Fantasy Football Goon. I am one of your hosts, Joe Mandel, and I'm joined by my fantasy football brother, Steven Zimmerman, filling in today for the Tooch and Adam Shawm. Zim, how you doing, buddy?
Man, wow, what a great day. I'm so ready for football. I am
Me too, buddy.
watching the Giants-Panthers game on my other screen over here.
In Germany, yeah.
In Germany. I kind of forgot this was an early game. This was a pleasant surprise when I fired up the computer today and saw that, oh yeah, this is on right now. Let's enjoy it. And Chuba Hubbard having himself a day. For any Hubbard owners out there, I hope you remembered to set your lineups because he is going off right now.
Yeah, what's his stat line looking right now, Zim? I know he was looking good.
Well, he's at 24.2 points in the league I currently have him in. He's at 138 rushing yards with a touchdown, 3 catches for 14 yards.
Wow.
And they're currently up 17-7 over the Giants. He is likely to get a lot of touches here in the fourth quarter. Bad news, everybody. Malik Neighbors, literally as I was talking, just went down with some kind of injury. I think it's his head again.
Another concussion?
The way he's walking and moving, I think he just got jarred. Man, we're seeing it all across the league right now, right? Jaquan Brisker for the Bears has been out for a month with a concussion. They're talking about Chris Olave being done for the season after a concussion injury. It makes you wonder if they're going to do the same thing with Neighbors, if that's truly what's up with him. You know, if Neighbors has another concussion here, the Giants season is absolutely lost. He's a rookie, man. I don't think it's worth continuing to try to risk this kid's career in his first season.
I'm with you, buddy. That's rough. And we're into a wild morning already of inactives. A lot of people were banking on Amari Cooper being active for them today, and he's inactive again for Buffalo, as is Keon Coleman. So Khalil Shakir has to have a stock up, right, Zim?
Oh, absolutely. He's going to be your primary target. You know, and don't forget about Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox out there as well. The two tight ends, they're big bodies. They're good receivers. They don't drop a lot of passes. So I think Josh Allen is going to have no choice but to go to his tight ends and Shakir today, because there's not a whole lot of other reliable options on the field. it also means that your running back stock is going up, up, up in James Cook right now. He's going to get a lot of action.
I think you're going to see some Ray Davis today too.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. Ray Davis has been very good when they're giving him the opportunity.
For sure. And we got a question here already from Jason. Jennings or Sutton? I'm assuming you're talking about Jaquan Jennings, who I think is going to be heavily targeted today. I like Jaquan Jennings a lot today. Sutton, again, another rough matchup. I think I'd rather go with the upside of Jennings. Zim, I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I agree. It's got to be Jennings for me. Sutton he's not consistent. He's not a wide receiver one, even though the Broncos think he is. Frankly, he's ruining Bo Nix's rookie season. So.
Yeah, basically. And let's be honest, Tampa Bay is horrendous in the secondary, so you got to expect Jaquan Jennings to be involved a lot in this game.
Yeah. And just for a quick side note here, if Bo Nix had the weapons that either Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels have, he would be running away with Rookie of the Year right now. The fact that we're not talking about this kid more is purely just a hype job by sports coverage, analysts, whatever, with Jaden Daniels. Guys, if you haven't been watching Bo Nix, you've gotta. For us Bears fans out there, he looks like what we thought Trubisky was going to look like. He's good.
And I'm stunned they didn't make a move for a wide receiver at the deadline. I thought for sure they were going to add somebody.
It would have made so much sense, but it is what it is. I see we got more questions coming through in the chat, so I don't need to sit here on my Bo Nix bandwagon right now, but man, I love what I'm seeing from him out in Denver. I think he's going to be a great future fantasy option.
I'm with you.
It might be worth targeting him.
Yeah, he's a good streaming option this season as well, and
definitely very high, especially against bad defenses.
Yeah, Eric with the Ray from Star Wars picture. I like that. 12-team half PPR, Hawk or Laporta. That's a tough one this week.
That's really tough. Laporta just has not had consistent output this year. As somebody who drafted him highly in every league I'm in, I am pissed.
I like Hawkinson a lot today. Jacksonville's brutal against the tight end. So
that's kind of it. And Sam Darnold is reverting to a lot of his old tendencies recently. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those old tendencies include looking short. And that's where Hawkinson eats is in those 5-yard stick routes. And then he just shovels over people for an additional 8 yards. So yeah, I think Hawkinson, especially if he gets like 5 or more catches, 8 or more targets, he'll be great.
I think he will today against Jacksonville, who can't defend the tight end. Eric also wants to know about his quarterback. Kirk Cousins or Tua both have good matchups.
Yeah, so I'll say I'm in this same boat. And if you have a stack, follow the stack. So if you have Mooney, if you have Bijan, if you have Pitts, go with Cousins. If you have Hill, if you have Waddle, if you have Achane, go with Tua. If you don't have a stack in a vacuum, I pick Kirk Cousins. He's just been more consistent this year. He also has shown the ability to just like go off at a moment's notice.
And New Orleans' whole defense is injured.
Yeah. This kind of screams. See, and this is the thing. It also could so easily be a Kirk Cousins trap game. He has a bad habit of not showing up in games like this. But then again, he has a secondary track record of dropping 50 plus in games like this. So we'll see what happens. Regardless, I stick with Cousins.
Yeah, I'm riding the Cousins.
The risk today outweighs, or rather the reward outweighs the risk.
Agreed. And Axis Myth wants to know, start 2, full PPR, Brian Thomas, Marvin Harrison, Ramondre Stevenson. Well, Brian Thomas, I think you got to start Brian Thomas for sure today.
Yes.
So I think that's the no-brainer here. I don't think it's as clear-cut between the other two as it looks like on paper. The Bears got absolutely torched by James Conner And I think Ramondre Stevenson might be in line to do the same thing today.
Pass catching running backs have succeeded against the Bears this year.
Yeah,
all
they really
year
have.
long. So I go with Stevenson.
Yeah, and Harrison's probably going to be getting Sauce Gardner today. So, so I'm probably going Thomas and Stevenson.
Yeah, I am in full agreement there. I love Marvin Harrison Jr., but he is just not putting it together against elite defenses. The learning curve is real.
Very
folks.
inconsistent for sure. But while we wait for more questions, let's dive into our quarterback starts of the week. And Zim, I'll let you lead us off.
Yeah, so I got Jalen Hurts at Dallas. Historically does okay against Dallas, but Dallas, the wheels are coming off right now, and Hurts is starting to hit his stride. So they could get boat raced real quick. And if that's the case, Hurts is going to account for between 3 and 5 touchdowns pretty easily, probably 250 passing yards. You'd hope for more, but they're probably going to run the ball a lot today. Next up, I got Kirk Cousins at New Orleans. We kind of just talked about that, but it's one of those games where, the reward outweighs the risk. Kirk could throw up a dud, as he has done against teams like this, but I'm not banking on it. I think he is really going to succeed today. I like that entire Atlanta offense today, as you'll see with some of my later picks. Like, Atlanta has been slowly putting it together on offense. This is something that Joe was calling before the season started, and I was a little skeptical on. But as the season's gone on, they're really linking up. They're starting to put it together. They're figuring it out. And this Atlanta offense is getting to be kind of scary. Last, I got Brock Purdy at Tampa Bay. 3 road quarterbacks, kind of strange, I thought, but I like the matchups too much. Purdy needs kind of a get right game, so to say. And it's not necessarily that he's been bad or anything. It's just that they've been a little disjointed. They've been trying to put it back together. Well, he gets the engine back today. Christian McCaffrey is back in San Francisco, rather in Tampa Bay. But with Christian McCaffrey being back, that's just so big for Purdy. How many fantasy points did he get last year off of dump offs to Christian McCaffrey?
A lot.
It's so big. And it opens up the rest of the offense too, because that's a whole different element you have to guard that, everybody's like, wow, is it really the system? Because Jordan Mason does well and Elijah Mitchell does well. And it's not the system, guys. Christian McCaffrey is that good. He did this in college. He did it in Carolina, and he's doing it on a Super Bowl contender with San Francisco. So, yeah, I think that just completely changes the game for San Francisco, and it makes their offense so much more appealing for the rest of the year.
I'm with you, buddy. We got a question here from Hunter. What up, guys? Have a few start sit questions. Full PPR for all one. Full PPR for all.
Okay, one, Javonte or Rome.
Oh, for all. Got it. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm reading it wrong.
Missing some punctuation. That's all.
Javonte or Rome. I don't love either today, but I'll take Javonte.
I'll take Javonte.
Bench one out of the 3, or one out of these guys. DJ, Tank Dell, Dobbins, Shakir. For me, it's DJ Moore.
It's DJ Moore, easily. Bears offense isn't doing it lately. You cannot trust these guys. Tank Dell is wide receiver 1 today. J.K. Dobbins has been going nuts this year. I don't see how you can even consider benching him.
Technically, I think Dell's going to be 2 today because Nico's back today. But,
yeah, whatever.
But still quality option.
Yes. And Shakir, we talked about at the top of the show. He is the wide receiver in Buffalo today. Lastly,
Drake May or Bo. That's you don't have anything better available.
With the matchups, I go Drake May. He has a better chance of success. No, Bo Nix is going against the Jets. That's right. I keep thinking he's going against the Broncos defense.
I'm still
flip a coin.
I don't like either option. Is there anybody else available, Hunter? You gotta let us know here in the chat.
Yeah,
PPR.
That's fair.
Do I start Cook or Connor?
Cook.
Between the two, if you have to choose, I'll go Cook, but I think Connor's still going to eat today. Foster's
Keep-
telling me Nico's not confirmed, but I thought he was. I'm looking for that game. Is that a night game? Yes,
I have
it
no
is.
idea.
Yeah, that's tonight's game. They took him
Like I
off of IR, so I think he would, if he's off of IR.
If he's off of IR, he's playing. You don't waste the roster spot taking him off of IR not to play him.
Well, there you
Especially
go.
when he still has 2 weeks left for return.
Yeah, so I'm sure he's playing tonight. And Robert. Hey guys, Shakir, Mooney, Brown,
Wow.
and Samuel. Oh my
First of
goodness.
all, what the hell league are you playing in? That's
Which
awesome.
Brown are we talking about here? We're talking about
Is that
AJ
AJ?
Brown? It's got to be AJ Brown.
I would think so. I think I leave Mooney out.
See, I'm probably in the minority, but I'm probably leaving Samuel off on this list, which is nuts in general. But I think Debo's got he's got Jaquan, and he's got Pearsall today that I think are going to see a lot of targets against this terrible Buccaneers secondary. Yeah, it's hard to bench Debo against they suck though.
Guys,
I
looks
guess
like go ahead.
I might have to agree with Zim. It's probably Mooney, but I don't like it.
I don't like it either. This is a good problem to have, Robert. This is a good problem to have. Guys, a little bit of breaking something. It looks like Chuba Hubbard might be hurt. And
oh no.
Possibly kind of seriously.
Oh, I don't like that.
He knew it immediately. He's walking off under his own power. He might be okay, but it looked like it might have been a hamstring injury. And as a running back, that can really hang around. We'll see what happens. Sure. He's walking off under his own power, but he pretty quickly knew he needed help. So that is notable. We've seen guys walk off the field after tearing an ACL. These guys are tough.
Yep. So fingers crossed for Chuba there. Hunter says he's got Drake, Bo, Justin Herbert, or Joe Flacco. Listen, I have this guy as a sleeper later on today. I really liked Justin Herbert today. I don't know why. I think he's been really trending in the right direction, and he's getting that offense in a good spot. So, I agree. If it's me, and I think Zim said he agrees, I think I'm taking a shot with Herbert against Tennessee.
Yeah. I fully agree. I think it's worth the shot.
And then we'll eventually get through questions and finally get to our starts. But Smitty, Scary Terry, or Brian Thomas Jr.?
That's tough.
And he said it best. He says Terry's probably the safer option, but Thomas Jr.
It's a good matchup for Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
The big thing is that Brian Thomas is still entering this game carrying an injury designation. And it makes you wonder how much that's going to hamper him as the game goes on. Whereas Terry, he's been consistent and reliable all season. Like you say, he's the safer option. I don't know.
I think the Jaguars are going to be playing from behind a lot.
So they'll be throwing the ball. Yeah.
I think they will be throwing. Trying to remember now who Washington's playing against Pittsburgh. So that's a tough matchup. And by the way, there's no Marshawn Lattimore and no Brian Robinson in that game.
Yeah.
So that's going to change things for that offense.
They still have Austin Eckler. He's still dangerous, even though people want to forget about him.
I'm probably taking a flyer on Thomas Jr. this week.
I think I go Terry.
It's close, man.
It is.
It's a coin flip, really.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like to have to make that decision. That's a tough one.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go for the higher ceiling in BTJ, who could just really eat, especially if you're in a PPR league. I guess both guys could have a lot of targets today. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's probably the hardest question we've had all day.
I think it is. It's a good problem to have, as I've already said before to others, but at the end of the day, it partly comes down to where are you in your playoff race, right? If this is a
Right.
must win, you have to go with the safe option. You can't be taking risks when your life is on the line, fantasy speaking.
Yeah.
When if this game is kind of up in the air, if you don't really have a whole lot to lose, go for the big boom play. If you're pretty safely in that playoff race, it's fair to go for Brian Thomas Jr. And we're getting to that point in the season where some of these decisions are having to be made based on the future, not just today.
Yeah. And we're having a question very similar to that here with Nico Collins. This guy, Dominic, is saying he's a game time decision. Should I still start him? I have Devontae Smith in his spot right now. I mean, it's a little tricky because it's a night game tonight, but I don't think you activate him off IR if he's not going to play.
I agree. I don't think that all game time decisions are equal. This does not feel like a true game time decision. It feels more like a little bit of sportsmanship there. At the same time, I again say, if you're fighting for your playoff life and you have to make a decision, stick with Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is still a very good option. Frankly, I think straight up, you could argue that Devontae Smith is the better option playing against Dallas.
Yeah.
But I'd go with Nico in a vacuum where all things are equal.
Yeah, if you already have if you're already trending for a playoff spot already, or if you already have one close to clinched, or if you already got 35 or 50 points out of Burrow or Chase, then definitely fire up Nico.
Yeah. Chuba Hubbard back on the field, guys. So
oh, there you go. Good.
Not big reason for concern. That's good.
Lots of tight end questions pouring in. We got Josh wants to know Pitts, Hawkinson, or Henry. I like them all today. So that's a great problem to have.
I go Pitts.
It's close for me. I'm going Hawkinson by a hair because Jacksonville is horrendous against the tight end.
They are very bad.
But then again, Dallas, or I'm sorry,
Tampa Bay is also pretty bad against the tight end.
And Pitts isn't playing. Who's Atlanta playing? No.
Isn't that the Tampa Bay game?
No,
that's the 49ers.
That's Dallas, right? Or
Excuse me.
I'm losing my mind here. I have it right.
They're playing New Orleans.
Thank you. New Orleans also not great against anybody for that matter, but I'm still taking Henry. I'm sorry, I'm taking Hawkinson. I like Henry today too against the Bears because him and Drake May have a really good thing going right now.
Yeah.
But I like them all, but I'm taking Hawk. Pitts is a great option too. It's 1A and 1B for me.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I stand by my Pitts choice.
Yeah, I like Pitts today too.
It's just it's too good of a matchup to discount it.
Yeah, and the next one's a little more clear cut for me. It's Jacob wants to know Pitts or Henry. I'll take Pitts.
Yeah. Yep, I've made my case for Pitts. I'll keep making my case for Pitts throughout this show. It's important to admit when we're wrong, guys, and I was very wrong about Kyle Pitts this season.
Yeah. Untamed Music is a great, hilarious question. Good morning. I had Jamar Chase, Mark Andrews, and Chase Brown on Thursday. My question is, should I start or sit the rest of my team? Half PPR. Yes, start them and blow your opponent out of the water.
You do not know what could happen today.
Your whole team could take a giant shit, and then you could lose by 2 points.
This is an important lesson for everybody. Who expected Jamar Chase, Mark Andrews, and Chase Brown to put up that many points on Thursday? Okay. Who else is capable of doing that this week? Just remember that. It can happen to anybody at any time.
Yeah. All right, Hunter. No worries. We appreciate the questions. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Last two, I promise. Which two do I start between Eckler, Stevenson, or Najee? Also, do I drop Drake May or Bo Nix for rest of season? Rest of season. Well, it depends who you're dropping them for.
Yeah. I go Eckler and Stevenson. Najee's a sit today for me.
Ooh, really?
Yes,
Oh, I have him as a start. I got to know why.
because the Steelers suck coming off buys.
Yeah, but they're playing Washington. They can't stop the run.
It doesn't matter.
For me, it's Eckler. I'm
They're
taking
going to be playing
Stevenson and
from
Najee.
Pittsburgh's going to be playing from behind a lot in that game.
You think so?
Yes, I know so.
Zim and I disagree on this one, Hunter. I like Najee a lot today. And I like Stevenson. Eckler's RB. He's like a flex play for me today.
He is. I really don't like Najee in divisional games, genuinely.
Well, this coming a lot from me. I'm a guy who said Najee was like one of the worst fantasy running backs of all time. And this season, he kind of bounced back for me. I don't own him in any shares, but
I want to be clear. This isn't a divisional game, but Washington-Pittsburgh is like one of those weird interconference rivalries that happens.
could be a possible preview of the playoffs.
Yeah. No, those games are always, I don't know. I've got my feelings about it. I just don't trust him. I don't trust him in a game that it's not necessarily a must win, but with the way the Washington offense has been going lately, that's why I think, Pittsburgh's defense isn't amazing. It's not what they're hyped up to be. I really feel that Washington's going to be playing from ahead and Pittsburgh's going to be playing from behind a lot.
For sure.
And Russ panics when he plays from behind.
Well, we'll see. We'll have to roll back the tape and see what happens. On this one, Lucas wants to know Tua or Stroud, assuming Nico and Hill play.
Tua.
It's Tua by a mile for me.
Stroud has been ass cheeks the second half of this season so far.
Adunze or DJ Moore?
Adunze.
I don't like him either, but if I had to pick one, I'll take Adunze today.
DJ Moore is going to be matched up on Christian Gonzalez, who has 6 inches on him and is just playing lockdown this season.
Yeah. Hunter said he'd be dropping either Bo Nix or May for Herbert. I'd probably go with Nix. I mean, they're at the same player right now.
Yeah.
Let me look at the schedules for the rest of the season. Hang on. All right, so the Broncos, they get Falcons. I'm sorry, they got Falcons, Raiders, Browns. All right, never mind. Drop. Who's the other guy?
Drake May.
Drop May because Denver's schedule, Zim, is
they've got a cakewalk the rest of the season.
Atlanta, Oakland, Cleveland, Indy, Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs. So I'd stick with Knicks and drop May.
There's so much scoring opportunity for the Broncos there, yeah.
Foster's asking questions here. Foster's going against me technically in guillotine, even though we don't play each other, but we're trying not to get chopped. I'm assuming this is a guillotine question. Hunt, Najee, Juwan Jennings, Quentin Johnson. I need 2 for a flex. Yeah, I'd love to have one of those so I didn't have to start Ricky Pearsall today, but I got
Hunt and Johnson.
I got too many guys on bye this week, which, by the way, Zim, forgot to mention this at the top of the show, but 4 teams on bye. You got the Browns, Packers, Raiders, and Seahawks today.
Yeah, teams that you wouldn't necessarily think to be fantasy relevant, but then you start thinking about, that means Josh Jacobs is on bye. Oh, that means DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba are on bye. And it waterfalls from there.
And 3 of those guys you just mentioned are on my guillotine squad. So There you go. But I'm not dropping them. I can't drop them. So, which ones did you pick here, Zim?
I go with Hunt and Johnston.
Shit.
Johnston has been playing sneaky good all season long. A lot of
He's
people
available in guillotine, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know that I like him enough to go out of your way to get him.
I know, I'm not.
It's hard because he's been. A lot of people didn't notice Alan Lazard going crazy this season, and now that Devontae Adams is there, it's completely boned his production. But Alan Lazard and Quentin Johnson have been very similar players this year, where they're pretty much guaranteed 10 points.
Yeah. With that said, I'm going Hunt and Najee in this one.
Yeah, and with your reasoning for Najee, I completely understand.
I mean, Washington can't stop the run. That's where I land on it. But
I
Zim
get that,
has a
man,
point
but-
where they don't come great off buys either during their why am I forgetting their coach's name?
Tomlin.
The Tomlin era. They don't come great off of buys, but we'll see.
I don't trust him. I don't trust him. And it's got all of the makings for a disappointing game from Pittsburgh.
I mean, it certainly is possible. We're finally going to get to my quarterback starts. I feel like I've been waiting for like half the questions. There's been so many questions,
that's okay,
though.
man.
It's a good thing. And there's only two of us.
Show
so
like this in a while. It's
no, we
fun.
have not. It's good stuff. Brock Purdy against Tampa Bay. I mean, we're talking about them right now. Tampa Bay can't stop anybody in the secondary. They're the worst team against the wide receiver. Fire up any receiver you have from the 49ers. I like Matthew Stafford against Miami. Here's a guy that's available in a lot of leagues. I've seen him dropped in pretty much almost every league I'm in. Miami, while their secondary has been improved this season, they have not looked as great as of late. So I think Stafford's going to rip them apart. That's going to be a shootout, I think.
Yeah.
And then I know Zim hates this guy, and so does Adam, but I'll take a shot on Sam Darnold today against Jacksonville. They suck. Jacksonville's bad. And Justin Jefferson getting matched up against those guys. He's going to torch him.
No, that's fair. Justin Jefferson being there, TJ Hawkinson being back. There's reason to like it.
And might as well dive into Zim's running back starts.
All right, so I got Kyron Williams versus Miami. A lot of the same reasons that you were talking about with Stafford, but it felt good. It feels good. Miami doesn't have a great run defense at all. The next one's kind of a no duh, but I feel like we have to say it because it's the first time he's been available all season.
It's happening.
Christian McCaffrey at Tampa Bay. Christian McCaffrey is back, guys. Put him in your lineups. Don't forget that he's there. You've had to work around it all season. You don't have to anymore. Set it and forget it. Christian McCaffrey, RB1. How exciting.
Yeah.
Lastly,
crazy.
I forgot this game was early, but Tyrone Tracy versus Carolina. I don't know how this has aged. Is he playing okay?
I have him in one of my leagues. Let me see how many points he's got for me. What happened there? Hold the phone.
Is he not doing well?
No, he's doing great. He's got 17 carries for 105 yards, 1 touchdown, and then he's got 1 catch for 1 yard. So he's got about 22 points.
There you go. Play your players against the Panthers. Don't overthink it. I don't care how good or bad they are. Wow, Chuba. You had nothing but green grass in front of you. Freaking guy.
Well, at least he's not hurt.
If I have to make a backup pick at running back, just since Tyrone Tracy's already started, I'll give you James Cook. James Cook at Indianapolis. James Cook.
Yeah, he should torch them today.
He's got a good matchup against Indy, and with the top two receivers being out for Buffalo, he's got a good opportunity to get a lot of carries. We were talking about him earlier on the show, so I feel safe saying that.
And I have a league where I have Shakir and Mooney on my bench, and I have CD and Cup. Would you bench either of those guys for Shakir?
No. I want to, but no.
And would you bench either Gibbs, A-Chain, or Kamara for either of those guys?
No.
I would not either. Okay, so I'm just put it out there. This team I have is stacked.
It sounds like it. Jeez.
And somehow I'm only 5. No, I'm 6-3. I'll take that. I'm going for 7-3 today. So
cool.
All right, let's get to my running back starts. I love J.K. Dobbins today against Tennessee. That team loves to run the ball, and Justin Herbert's going to get the play action going today. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, Neighbors is back on the field. The
Really?
way he came up, man, I did not think he was going to get cleared to go back into the game. Wow.
Wow, he Maybe he took a shot and he's back in the game.
Yeah, I don't know,
Like
man.
an alcoholic shot. Ramondre Stevenson against the Bears. Listen, I talked about him a little while ago. The Bears got absolutely torched last week by James Conner. They don't do good against pass-catching running backs. Stevenson is going to do that today. Drake May and him have been kind of finally starting to figure it out. Sign me up for Ramondre Stevenson. And as Zim already knows, I love Najee Harris today against Washington. So I'm going to take my chances on that. I think he's going to have a great day. Let's get the tight end starts. I'll lead this off. Hunter Henry, lo and behold, I like Hunter Henry against the Bears today. I'm trying not to give obvious options here.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry has got a great rapport going with Drake May. He gets a lot of targets, especially in the red zone. Taysom Hill. New Orleans is banged up. Of course, Noah Olave. Taysom Hill is going to be more involved in the game plan. And he's a tight end that's basically a wide receiver. I really like him today. I'm almost tempted to play him in guillotine over Jake Ferguson, but I don't know if I could do that. I don't know how he's going to work out there. That's a tough one without Dak. So I didn't ask you that question yet, Zim. I've been stumped on that one. Because I would have to drop Ferguson. That's the thing.
You have to drop him outright.
Yeah.
Dak's out for the season, so
yeah, and I don't know what his relationship is like with Cooper Rush.
I think it's more about, do you have faith in Cooper Rush? Because that's where I'm at with CeeDee Lamb. Is like, I'm going to leave him out there this week just because he's a magnet. We'll see what happens from there.
I mean, how can you not throw it to your big, tall tight end? So I'm going to stick it with Ferguson. I don't think I should risk that, but it's a tough question. Anyway, I do like Hill today if you guys need a help at tight end. TJ Hawkinson, of course, against one of the worst defenses in the league, especially against the tight end in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do that. And Zim's got a guy that I was going to put on my list, but then I looked at me, Adam, and you, and we all had the same guy. So I took Otten off my list, but obviously he's going to have a good day today, I'm sure.
Yeah, Cade Otten is he's on an all-time run right now. You got to leave him in there until he tells you otherwise. He's become a primary focal point in that Tampa Bay offense. He has become the red zone guy. He's looking like what Mark Andrews looked like in his breakout season. So Cade Otten, easy start. Don't overthink it. Kyle Pitts at New Orleans. We've talked at length about that game already. Cousins is going to get him the ball. Kyle Pitts is finally coming into his own, which is good for him because he's in a contract year.
Yeah.
Hopefully that continues to work out for him. Wow, what a catch, Neighbors. Wow.
This game is still going. It's a long game.
Yeah, man. This is getting
it's been like 3 hours.
I know.
Started at 9:30 Eastern, I think.
Oh, he didn't catch that. He didn't. It bounced off the ground and he tried to sell it. Smart. But that was very clearly off the ground. Lastly, I have Dalton Kincaid at Indianapolis. As we've talked about quite a bit, top two receivers out. Kincaid is going to get some looks. And he already has good chemistry and rapport with Josh Allen. So
yeah,
curious to see what that offense looks like without the top two receivers out there today. I will be keeping an eye on it through red zone for sure. Yeah, that game is going to be really interesting to me. I don't recall a game where like I liked an offense this much with both of their top receivers out.
Yeah.
Again, Kincaid, Knox, Shakir, Cook, Davis, they're all good options there still.
Yeah, I'm so bummed in guillotine that I lost Cooper. I get such a downgrade from him to Pearsall, but
yeah, you really do. That's hard.
At least I was smart enough to pick somebody up because I originally didn't have anybody else that was available because everyone else was on bye. So at least I looked at the matchup against Tampa and I'm like, just in case he doesn't play. So
it's
I could have been
guillotine,
totally
man.
screwed.
You don't have to be the best. You just have to not be the worst. And I know that gets a little harder every week, but it also gets a little easier every week.
Well, I got 34 points out of Burrow, so it's a good start.
Yeah, that'll help a lot.
Yeah.
You basically consider that 10 free points that you now
Yeah.
have to worry about Cooper being gone a little less. So.
Yeah, for sure. We got a question here. Half point PPR flex McLaurin or Ramondre? I don't think it's particularly close. I'm taking Ramondre.
I think I'm going Ramondre as well.
Just going to see a lot of volume today. Cadel wants to know, should I trade Jacobs, Collins, and Shakir for CD, London, and Javante?
If Dak was still healthy, I would say yes. But I don't know what CD's production is going to be without him there. And
I think it's a wait another week on this trade.
Wait until Tuesday.
See how CD does today with Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
And if it looks like same old, then I would pull the trigger. But if it doesn't, then hit the pause button. Rome the host wants to know, half PPR, start 1, McConkey, Jaquan Jennings. I'm assuming this is Robinson from the Giants, probably. Is that who that is? Yeah. I'll probably go with Jennings because he's got a Tampa Bay's really bad against the wide receiver. How about you, Zim?
I think you might be looking at DeMarcus Robinson from
the
Rams, who has been on a good stretch here, but sorry, I'm reading up on him because I'm not super familiar with him.
I mean, DeMarcus Robinson's been on a good stretch. He's been a red zone target, but he doesn't get the volume of the other two guys. So
that's it. Cup and Nakua are both back, which hurts his value a lot. Jennings' value, I think, goes down with McCaffrey being back. I honestly think I go McConkey here. McConkey's targets share has been going up. He's seeing 5 to 7 targets a game, which is significant for a rookie. If he catches enough of those, he earns the trust of his quarterback and gets more, which he has been. And he's been proven that he can be reliable in the red zone as well, which is something Quentin Johnston, he hasn't been getting those red zone targets, right? So that's where McConkey comes into play. He's, as we were talking before the show, I think McConkey's a lot more touchdown dependent, but I like his odds of getting a touchdown more than Jennings or Robinson this week.
I like McConkey a lot, but I think Jennings is going to eat real good today against Tampa's awful secondary. So for me, if I had to rank those guys, I'd go Jennings, McConkey, and Robinson. That's just me.
Okay.
Sharks wants to know Cortland Sutton or Jamison Williams. I'll take Williams coming off the suspension. Good matchup. Detroit, that's the team to beat right now in the NFL, and they've
JMO's pissed off, and a pissed off.
I'm sure
JMO
he's really pissed off.
Owners.
Yeah, he's really pissed off, and Detroit has a pretty good matchup today. I'm trying to remember who they're playing. Houston, so I think he's going to eat. Now he's not going to command much attention. I think they'll get him the ball. I think he's going to score today. Booba, I like that. Wants to know Kincaid, Waddle, or Bucky Irving in the flex PPR. I'm taking Waddle. Zim?
I think I go Waddle.
Yeah, me too. Rochita. PPR, pick tight end and 2 flex. Ferguson, Pitts, Hunter Henry, Waddle, Juwan Jennings, Irving, McMillan, Tank Dell. Well, you're definitely playing Tank Dell.
I go Dell. I go Waddle. I go Pitts.
Yep, me too. That was easy. I was like, I'm reading through that list, and all of a sudden Tank Dell was the last name. I'm like, you're playing him today. Well, 3 flex, he said. Okay.
3 flex. So we add one more in there.
Yes.
I like Henry.
It's between Ferguson and Henry for me.
Okay. You don't like Juwan Jennings more than them?
The way I see Hunter Henry and Jake Ferguson is I see him like Henry's arguably a number one wide receiver, and Ferguson's basically number two, but he gets a new quarterback that's going to need a tall guy in the middle of the field.
Sure.
So that's how I look at it. I think Jennings is going to eat too. It's such a tough question. Tank, Pitts, Waddle, and give me Henry. I think Henry's going to score today.
Pitts, Henry, Dell.
Oh, he also has McConkey, he says. Does that change anything for you? I don't think so.
You could put him in over Henry, but again, he's a little touchdown dependent, and I don't think Henry's nearly as touchdown dependent today.
It's PPR, so I'll stick with Henry.
Yeah.
All right, where did we leave off? We got through our tight end starts, right?
Yes.
All right, let's go to wide receivers. What do you got for us?
These are Adams, my guy.
Oops, you're not Adam. There you go.
Those are also last week's, I think, considering Chris Olave was on there.
I didn't update Adam. Adam put his list in, and then I didn't update it because I didn't get to my computer until right before the show, and he couldn't make it, so it's fine.
So I got Jameson Williams at Houston as a start. Houston, not super good at defending the pass, and Jameson Williams pissed off after a 2-game suspension. Coming back into the machine that is the Ben Johnson offense.
Yep.
So, not to mention, Jared Goff is on a historic QB run right now. And this just opens the bag even more for him. They were really clicking before, and they're going to pick up where they left off.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Rochita, for the subscribing. Appreciate you.
Yes, we are here every Sunday about 10:45 Central, all the way up to kickoff, which is in 20 minutes now. Holy cow, this hour has flown by.
Well, we've got about 8 million questions. So
Next up, I have Davante Adams at Arizona. He went off last week. He and Rodgers found their old chemistry again. And it's Arizona. I don't think there's a whole lot of analysis that needs to go into this one. It's more, don't forget about Davante Adams at Arizona.
Yeah.
Lastly, I have Ladd McConkey against Tennessee. Like I said, it's a little touchdown dependent, but he's getting the target share, he's getting the opportunity, and he's gaining the trust. Not to mention Quentin Johnston kind of went off last week, and the way these receiver rooms work when there's no clear defined wide receiver one is like somebody responds when somebody else has a game like that. So I'm kind of banking on that a little bit for McConkey to come out and say, no, I'm wide receiver one this week. So
there you go. I love that.
Little bit of sports psychology thrown in there for you.
For sure. I love Mooney today. Darnell Mooney against New Orleans. We talked about him a little bit earlier. He's been a big surprise this season, and Kirk Cousins can certainly get him the ball. Mooney's got that speed. I love him today to have a big day. No one's talking about this guy, but I love George Pickens today against Washington. With Russ, I mean, he's been good all year, but with Russ, he looked like a different guy.
I like Pickens a lot more than I like Najee today. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, I'm starting Pickens in one league over DeAndre Hopkins today because he's got a tough matchup.
Yeah, I was looking at D-Hop as a potential sit candidate today, actually.
Yeah, I think he is a sit candidate. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love him, but Denver's tough defense.
It is.
But anyway, I like Pickens. He's been heavily targeted. He's a red zone guy. This could be a huge day. And I'm willing this into existence, Sim, and I already had this on my notes before I had to play him, but I like Ricky Pearsall today against Tampa Bay.
Hey, you convinced me. I'm putting him in my lineup over Douglas.
There you go, man. Do it. Let's see what happens.
I don't have much of another option.
Any wide receiver eats against Tampa Bay. He's wide receiver 3. Debo's going to garner a lot of attention. Jaquan Jennings and Pearsall are going to be running free all over the field. I think Pearsall is going to have a good day. So that's how I feel about it. We got a couple more questions here. Jay Dollars, White or Dowdle today?
I go Dowdle. Personally, Rashad
Yeah.
White has been on my bench for a majority of the
Yeah.
season.
Bucky Irving is a thorn in White's side. So
He is. And I'll say I have the luxury of having Chuba Hubbard, Devin Achane, and DeAndre Swift along with Rashad White. So I have a luxury in being able to sit him. I understand that. But just we all expected him to be a RB1 coming into the season, and he's put up RB1 numbers once this year.
Yep.
So, and it was kind of fluky, to be completely honest, because it was against Baltimore.
Yeah.
It was not a game people expected him to do well in. So
I'm aligned on Dowdle. I think he's going to be a busy man today.
Dowdle has been a league winner. At the end of the year, we will look at Dowdle as a potential league winner candidate.
Yeah. I mean, it's especially if he can stay healthy the rest of the way.
Yeah. He's been so reliable for Dallas. Make them look like geniuses for getting rid of Tony Pollard.
For sure. Changos wants to know Harrison Jr., Tyreek, or Hopkins. I don't think it's particularly close. I think you got to ride Tyreek this week.
Yeah, it's Tyreek. He's got the best matchup of the three. And I don't know. He's got to play well sooner or later, right?
The Rams are bad on secondary. You gotta play Tyreek today.
Look, I saw a big debate earlier this week about Christian McCaffrey was obviously one of the worst fantasy draft picks all season for most people.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
But Tyreek Hill can be argued just as much.
Yeah.
He's been so bad fantasy wise this season. So unreliable in a way that he never has been before. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, well, I think he turns it around. If you look at the schedule the rest of the way for the Dolphins, it's really, really favorable.
And that's just it.
Tyreek turns that corner starting today. If you want me to talk about the schedule, here it is. So today they get the Rams, they get the Raiders next week, Patriots, Packers, Jets, Texans, Niners, Browns, Jets. So it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Something just happened in the Panthers game when I looked away.
That game is still going on.
Yeah, they're in overtime now. 17-17. I think Tyrone Tracy might have just fumbled.
Oh, I have Tracy in another league. Hang on.
He sure did. He fumbled at the 24-yard line, recovered by Carolina.
I lost.
That is some atrocious ball security. He deserved a fumble there. Wow. He is in a crowd of people just waving that thing around.
More questions pouring in the crazy. Booba wants to know, wonder if it's Kincaid good sneaky flex option because of all the injuries. Yes,
absolutely.
We spoke a little bit about that earlier. I think he's going to see a lot of target share today.
This season, more than ever, I have been okay with flexing tight ends.
Yep. Same here. Booba also wants to know Dowdle or Waddle. I have so many mid players.
We all do this year, man. Has this worked out? Has this season gone the way any of us thought it was going to?
No, but I will say Dallas has a pretty good matchup today, and Dowdle has been very effective.
I go Dowdle, especially
I think you got
Cooper
especially
Rush
against
is
Philly.
Be in there. Cooper Rush is going to be in there at quarterback. They're gonna have to rely on Dowdle. Yeah, Philly knows that for sure, but that's just it. They can't stop the run.
And Fendi wants to know Dell or Downs. I think it's Tank Dell for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Downs has been great, but I think you have to go with Dell.
The thing that makes it more appealing is it's Downs with Flacco.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, that was my big thing is when Flacco came in, it was like you can just get rid of Alec Pierce.
Yeah.
Because Flacco gets on with Downs so much better.
For sure.
But regardless, I still think it's Tank Dell.
Yeah, me too. All right, before more questions pour in, we'll get to our defensive starts.
Yeah, not a whole lot of overthinking here again. Chargers at Tennessee. Tennessee's offense is bad right now. The Giants at Carolina. Again, that game's going right now, but pick anybody playing against Carolina. If you need a streamer, just find who's playing Carolina. And last, I got Minnesota at Jacksonville. Minnesota's the number one defense in fantasy football, and for some reason, they're still available in like 30% of leagues. I don't know why people are sleeping on this defense. They are putting up fantasy numbers, and that is what matters. We do not care what they look like on the field. We care what the statistics are at the end of the day for our fantasy rosters.
I think I picked up Minnesota in week 3, and they've been like so solid for me every week, so I'm like happy. I'm taking a flyer on the Eagles today against the Cowboys with the backup quarterback. I think it's a team that's available in a lot of leagues that you can plug in and probably get a solid 10 to 15 points today. I'm taking the Bears against the Patriots. I feel like they could get a couple turnovers. I still don't think the Bears are going to win this game, but I think that they're going to force.
You don't think the Bears are going to win today?
I really don't.
Well, I think
that just shows you how I've been alienated the last. Yeah, I think that. I think it's going to be one of those really low-scoring games, and they're going to lose on like the last play.
And there goes like pick number 33. Carolina walks it off.
Really?
Carolina walk-off field goal to beat the Giants
in Germany.
It was fun while it lasted, but the Bears will officially not get picks number 32 and number 33.
Who's got more wins than, or who's got more losses than them now?
The Giants, who they just beat.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They now own that tiebreaker too. Do you really trust the Giants to win 2 more games this year?
Maybe. I don't know. Probably not.
I don't.
What a perfect segue, though. Team I do trust to win some more games this year is the Lions. I like them as a flyer today against the Texans.
The Lions defense became available in a lot of leagues after Aiden Hutchinson got hurt. I know I myself dropped them after that injury and picked up the Packers defense instead, full well thinking while I was doing this, wow, this Packers defense is not going to continue this. I did not think that the Lions would respond by getting better without Aiden Hutchinson.
For sure. But somehow they do. Booba says, thanks, guys. Go Commanders. Hey, I'm excited for you Commanders fans. It's kind of cool that you guys finally are going all in.
That's it, man. Every once a decade, you guys get one good season of quarterback play. So hopefully it works out this year.
Well, hey, man, Daniel looks like he could be the future over there. So
yeah, so did RG3 and so did Alex Smith.
Well, hopefully it ends better than those stories.
Exactly. Shit, so did Doug Williams.
Yeah.
You want to start throwing it back.
Yeah.
At least we can all agree that Jason Campbell wasn't it, right?
He was not it. No. Pate wants to know pick 3 this week: Najee, Shakir, Kareem Hunt, Pickens. Well, Pickens for me is a must start. So you gotta start Pickens.
Pickens, Hunt, Shakir to me.
Yeah, you really hate it. You really hate Najee. I love Najee Harris this week.
Dude, I'm telling you, he is going to drop a steamer today.
I don't see it. I don't see any way it happens. I'm going Najee, Pickens, and I'll go Hunt. Tough. All right, let's get to our sleepers here. And that's Adam's. That's not yours. Hold on. There you go.
Sleepers, Darnell Mooney at New Orleans. I don't know why he's still considered a sleeper, but he's available. Go get him. He's a wide receiver 1. There's not a whole lot to think about here, especially with Drake London out.
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson at Chicago. I guess he's not as much of a sleeper as I initially thought, considering Joe threw him in as his starter. But yeah, Ramondre, just good matchup right there. Good matchup. He has every opportunity in the world to succeed today. So,
Foster with some strong words for you, say.
Fucking Foster. Lastly, Mac Hollins at Indianapolis. How's that for a real sleeper pick?
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Man, Mac Hollins. I gotta pull this up because I was thinking hard about this one, and I really wanted to find somebody who I didn't think anybody was going to be talking about. But Mac Hollins in Buffalo, right? top 2 receivers are down. Khalil Shakir has to go into a situation that he's never been in before, being a true wide receiver 1. He's going to be matched up against the top DB. And it doesn't matter that it's Indianapolis. That's still a responsibility that he's never had before. So we're going to see how he responds to all that. Meanwhile, Mac Hollins gets to slip into a role that he's been in for 2 years already. He gets to slip into a position where he's comfortable with a quarterback he's been with on a team that he knows in a system that he's worked with against a not very good defense. If you are absolutely desperate at wide receiver today, you have to find somebody. I think Mac Hollins is good for a solid flex start today.
Wow. I like it, Tim. We're both really getting out there with some of our
I had to
picks
reach
today.
far into the bag for that one, but man, Mac Hollins, it makes too much sense to not be a good sleeper for me.
Yeah.
And if he goes off, I get to wave my finger at everybody. And if he doesn't, I get to say, well, that's why he was a sleeper. I wasn't telling you to outright start.
Yeah, right. And
this is my most fun segment because you get to pull out names.
It is
like
fun.
That.
Well, I pulled out this guy earlier, but I do think Justin Herbert has a real nice day against Tennessee. He's a sleeper because he hasn't really done much of fantasy relevance this year because it's a run-first team, but they've been getting better and better every week with passing the football, and Tennessee is the team that you can unload on. So I like Justin Herbert, especially as a sleeper, definitely in 2 quarterback leagues and deep leagues. I like him a lot today.
Yeah. In the super flex leagues, absolutely.
Yeah, I think he's a great option. Jameson Williams coming off the suspension. I think he's coming out hot. I have him as a sleeper because he's been so inconsistent this year and suspended. So I like him a lot today against Houston. Look for him to at least have 1 touchdown. I think he's going to have probably close to 100 yards receiving today and a score. So
I think he's primed for a real good game.
Yeah, I sure hope so. And then Dalton Kincaid, I have him as a sleeper because he's been drastically inconsistent, but everyone's really banged up today. So they're without 2 starting wide receivers in Buffalo. Dalton Kincaid is going to see a lot of targets. I think he's a great option if you can get him.
Yep.
And let's go to our sits. Oh, look at that.
There we go. So I got DJ Moore versus New England. We talked about this a little bit, but he's going up against Christian Gonzalez today. Christian Gonzalez has turned into the true lockdown that he was drafted to be. And the Bears offense is all kinds of out of sorts. So I just don't like him today. I don't see much upside or much value with him. I got Patrick Mahomes versus Denver. Mahomes' numbers this season have been pedestrian at best. And he's now going up against the best defense he's faced that has a Mr. Patrick Surtain. Yep. And how about this? Patrick Mahomes has thrown more interceptions versus the Broncos than any other team in his career.
Huh. Wow.
So I just don't like it. Granted, a lot of those interceptions went to Justin Simmons, who is now on the Panthers, now on the Falcons. And fun fact, Justin Simmons has intercepted Patrick Mahomes 6 times in his career.
Really?
He knows how to find the guy. And it looks like it was not necessarily just the system in Denver. But anyway, that's just like a fun little side fact. Justin Simmons owns Pat Mahomes. Lastly, I got Najee Harris at Washington. Everything to me, just this lines up for a dud game for Harris. Anytime we've counted on Najee Harris, he has disappointed us. Anytime. And finally, he is earning our trust and telling us that we can rely on him. So what is he going to do? I think he's going to let us down. I think that this game, it's coming off of a bye week. Russell Wilson was airing it out pretty well, and I think they'll be playing from behind. So I think a combination of mainly Russell Wilson's good play, plus the fact that they'll be playing from behind, means that the ball will be thrown a lot more this week. It's hard to go against a guy who's done so well this season. I'm kind of digging my heels in and being stubborn on this because he's over exceeded our expectations this year. He has to come back down to earth sooner or later. And I think this is a good opportunity for it to happen.
It could certainly happen, but I'll also be laughing really hard if he puts up like
when he puts up like 3 touchdowns and has 6 catches for 60 yards and 180 rushing yards. Like, I will fully eat crow on that one.
And then I'll eat crow if he shits the bed too. So it is what it is. We'll find out here in a little bit.
Najee's just a very polarizing player this year. Not even this year. I think every year Najee's been a very polarizing player because he has games where he looks like a world beater, and he has games where it's like, how is this dude he's the Rex Grossman of running backs, man. Where he's got these games where you're like, holy shit, this guy's the future, and then the following week you're like, how is this guy in the NFL?
It's mind blowing sometimes. I also have Mahomes as a sit. I think Denver's defense is too good. They're going to have to run the ball. Kareem Hunt today. Tank Bigsby I have as a sit. Travis Etienne coming back. Bigsby's not looking as good. That offense can't get it together. Now it's a two-headed beast. Etienne's kind of the lead dog now. I'm out on Tank Bigsby the rest of the season, especially if Etienne's healthy. And then Calvin Ridley is a guy who's been looking really good ever since Hopkins got dealt. But that Chargers defense has been very good as of late. I think that Tennessee's going to have to run the ball today if they want to win this game. So I'm out on Calvin Ridley today.
I like them. I like those sits. They are smart. They are not gut-based.
No, they're fact. Brad wants to know. And by the way, guys, we got 2 minutes till kickoff. So get your last-minute questions in, and we're going to get out of here ourselves. Start DJ Moore, Brian Thomas, or Waddle. I think it's Thomas for me.
I agree with Thomas. Yeah. DJ Moore, I had on my sit list. Waddle, too inconsistent this year. Brian Thomas Jr., clear wide receiver 1 down there. Yeah. Excuse me.
I have to laugh every week. Vinny makes all his roster moves 30 seconds before kickoff.
Every week, dude. Every week.
I'm like looking at it right now. And Papa Bear just added Jalen Warren. Did something happen with Najee that I'm not aware of?
No, he's just listening to my voice of reason.
I guess.
No, I mean he had a good week in his last game. I don't think anything's happened with Najee.
Nope, not that I'm aware of. But we are at kickoff, folks. I know I'm double checking the inactives list before we get out of here.
No, everything's okay with Najee. He's fine. I don't think there were any surprise inactives that came up during the show. Nothing that came across
outside of Amari Cooper. That's about it.
But we knew about that one this morning, at least.
Oh, well, Michael Pittman Jr. is kind of a surprise for Indy.
Yeah, but were you really going to start him anyways?
No, we were not.
So,
anyway, guys, it's been one hell of a morning. Thanks to all the chat room. This is probably one of the most active chats we had all year. Unbelievable, man. You guys are the best. Appreciate you tuning in every single week. It's fun stuff. And yes, Foster says, no, Najee is good. Yes.
All right.
It is kickoff time. Thanks for staying with us all morning. Zim, a huge thank you to you, my friend, for filling in for the Tooch and for Adam today. Always fun talking fantasy with you, my friend.
I love coming on the show. It's why I've volunteered to be an alternate for you guys the last couple of years. This show's awesome. It's a lot of fun. It goes right up to kickoff. I'm kind of just waiting for kickoff now. Like, it's 12:01. What the hell?
What the heck?
Hey, that's the point of the show, Booba. We appreciate having you here. The whole point of us doing this show is more for us to give feedback on your questions than for us to give our suggestions. Because frankly, without the viewers, we don't have a show. So
that's right.
There's too many other shows out there that just want to spit facts at you, that just want to read off of a list and let that be the entire show.
That's it.
And what's the point of that? If you don't have the 6 players that they're listing off, the show is completely irrelevant to you. You want to know about your lineup, and that's what we're here for.
Yep, and we're doing it every single Sunday, 10:45 Central, all the way up to kickoff. So with that said, as always, God bless America. God bless football. Let's kick some ass. Go win your fantasy matchups. We'll see you guys next week. A huge thanks to Steven Zimmerman and John Santucci the Tooch and Adam Sham should be back next week. We'll let you guys know, but let's make it a good week. Go win those matchups. See you next time. Zim, thanks again, buddy.